Being average does not lead to success, especially in business. So let's talk about the target numbers you need to nail to be successful. Hey, I'm Nadia Elias and this is the Daily Espresso. Now, we all know who Usain Bolt is. Retired sprinter, the fastest man on the planet. You could say that he sets the benchmark for the sprinting world, for other athletes, for people that want to follow his success. Now, the benchmark he sets is obviously that time that he gets from one end of the track to 100 meters down. Sub 10 seconds, absolutely fast, and he is something that other athletes aspire to. He sets the target number that everyone else needs to nail or needed to nail when they're up against him. Now for him, he doesn't look at everyone else because he's beaten the averages and he's succeeding. He sets a PB and that's the target number he needs to nail. Now the same thing applies to you in your business, in your cafe. It doesn't matter what business you're in, but it especially applies to you guys because you're in a competitive market. Now, the average is just not good enough. Ibis World took a big survey of the cafe industry 2016 and they worked out some key numbers of the industry which are basically averages. One of those numbers which is striking is that profitability was only 4.3% of the industry. Now that is absolutely poor, so bad that no one, I don't think you or anyone I know, would want to put their money down to invest for just a 4.3% return, especially when they're taking on so much risk. Now the report that Ibis has put together is awesome and it lists out a lot of things that are the averages. Now, as a cafe owner, these are your benchmarks. These are your base plate average performance numbers that you need to get right. But it's not something that you should be nailing because being average in your competitive market is just not good enough, like I said. So what you've got to do is set your own benchmarks, set your own targets, and set your own KPIs. Now, there's a couple of places that you need to look for that and probably some people that you need to ask for some help around it. The first point is basically looking at where you are right now. The second step is understanding where you want to get to. And I've spoken before about your ideals and financial performance and things that you should be doing to hit those numbers to allow you to feel happy about where you're going. So key areas that I'd be looking at is your point of sale system and of course your accounting system. A big plug for Xero because it's real-time information at your fingertips and that's really cool too. So when you've got those numbers, you need to know where you are now and you need to know where you want to go. So with that information in hand, now it's time to beat your base numbers. If you're turning over 20,000, you want to go to 40,000 per week. They're the numbers you need to beat. If your sales per customer are $15 on average, then you want to take it beyond that. So in a competitive market, you're not competing against the person next door to you. Sure, you are physically, but you're actually competing against yourself. Bring it back to Usain Bolt, he competes against his PB and you should too. Everyone wants to beat the competition and being average just doesn't cut it. You're competing against yourself and you got to nail those numbers to get it right and to succeed. So you need to know what your numbers are now. You need to know what numbers you need to hit and you need to know what you got to do right now to get to those numbers, to hit those targets. If you want to know more, then you can check out the chapter in my book, Count More Beans. Hey, in fact, if you're a cafe owner or a roaster, get in contact with me directly and I'll get a free copy of the book out to you. And if you're an employee of a cafe or a roaster, then tell your boss to hit me up. We've been talking target numbers you need to nail. I'm Nadia Elias. This is the Daily Espresso. Get cracking.